Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Sunday, Christmas Day in Florida. It has been incredibly cold. A lot of the cold front that's affecting northeasterners and northwesterners is also affecting Florida. This morning it was in the low 30s, and right now, as I sit here speaking to you on this Christmas Day, it's 42 degrees, guys. Look at my temperature on my dashboard. Okay, it's 42 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, I don't have positive news for you guys this morning, and it's Christmas, and it shouldn't be this way, but it is, unfortunately. But I'm gonna try to stay upbeat and happy on this Christmas Day, because I'm about to make some decisions that could affect the rest of my life concerning my relationship with my family. It's regrettable on my side, especially being on Christmas Day and some of the things that's been happening up until today. So we'll get back to more when we come back. So, the last couple of years, I've been going off and on with decisions to relocate up north to be closer to my relatives. As you know, I've changed my mind several times because of my past. I think what I'm about to say clearly tells you how my family have been with me just because I'm a transgender woman. This is further to exemplify how trans people are treated by their family. And today is Christmas. It's Christmas. I have tried so hard to make my family happy. And no matter what I've done, no matter what I do, it's never enough. It's never enough. As you know, a month ago or so, I drove up to Massachusetts to surprise my family. My father was in the hospital. I went to go stay with him a couple days. And my mother. Me and my mother went out for breakfast. It was not easy driving all the way up there and coming back, but I wanted to drive. It was a surprise visit, so I can't book a flight. It doesn't exist. It will cost me a fortune to plan a flight today to leave tomorrow. That's an example. But I did it. I drove up there. I spent a little time with my mother and my father. I got to see my son briefly. As you know, he cut all contact with me. So in the hospital, he totally ignored me. This is after driving 24 hours, day and night. And then driving back home, day and night. Pulling over several times to sleep so I don't get into an accident. A few days ago, my mother suffered a stroke. I didn't know. But my brother texted me a day after it happened. So I called back right away. Throughout the day, I was staying in touch with my brother regarding the condition of my father and my mother. But as the day waned, the conversation with my brother started to change. He started to blame me for the reason why he's the only one who does anything for them. And if it wasn't for him, he doesn't know where they would be. Me and my brother have this thing that we share what we do by texting one another with pictures and conversation by text. If my brother buys something like a new motorcycle or a new car, or is doing something that he feels it's exciting, he'll share with me. And I will do the same on my end. After I got my car, I was happy I got it. I've been talking about it, as you guys know, for years. And I shared my happiness with him. I have one car now, just this. He said to me that I should be up there. He doesn't understand why I have to live so far away. That it's not family for me to do that. In the beginning of my transition, my brother didn't readily accept me. He thought that I was selfish for transitioning into a woman. To make a long story short, we've had ups and downs. This week he called me selfish. That I should just leave my home, my life in Florida, and just go up there and live with my mother and my father in a over 55 community. A lot of my relatives have lived in the same place. My grandmother that raised me since I was a child, that's where she died. That's where she lived. I was closer to her than anyone in my family because she showed me the real essence of love. And the love I have to give others is a love that she gave me. She taught me how to love, and she made me feel loved. I loved her very much, and I miss her very much. My mother, on the other hand, was the opposite. She was cold, abusive, verbally and physically. But I have put that behind me as I aged, because life comes around only once. In this life that I have with this family is just once. I don't know if I'll come back and have other lives with other families. I don't know. So anyways, ever since my mother got a stroke a couple days ago, I've been scrutinized, put down, and dragged through the ground by my brother. My mother, a week or so ago, told me that it would be nice if I could just go up there for 2 months and stay with my father, so she can take off and go to Europe to tie up loose ends with a home that they have there that they're trying to sell. My mother is in no condition to go anywhere. She's 78 years old. She's a diabetic. She's a little overweight. And to tell you further, she just got a stroke a couple days ago. Okay? Is that someone who's in condition to fly to another country where there's no medical attention? No. I've been telling my parents this, that they should not go back to that country because that country has no emergency medical contact. When my father got very sick, and when they found out that his kidneys failed, they flew him back to Massachusetts, to Mass General. But they were stubborn, they went. When I was there over a year ago, I told them that if they needed me to assist my brother in helping them, then I would put my home up for sale and I would move there, but under one condition, that they would have to move out of where they are and live with me in my home there in Massachusetts, or an apartment. We could all live together. It would be a lot easier for me. My father said no, that he would think about it. So there, I've extended myself so many times to my family. Speeding forward to this week, my brother contacted me. The conversation was going well, but then it went south very quickly. He started to scrutinize me and blame me for the reasons why he's got to do all the legwork, taking my mother to therapy, my father for his dialysis. How I'm selfish, that all I do is think about me. He said that my car is more important than my family. He told me that I should take my car and sell it. As you know, I just got this car about a month ago. And I was very, very undecided about living in Massachusetts, because they would get very complacent with me, and then I'd be alone again, like I was before when I lived there. Right now, I'm believing that my family is totally against me, and they have cut me off. They have cut me off completely. I've been trying to contact my mother since yesterday, since she got back. She had a mild stroke. It wasn't severe because she came home within a day or two. So I've been trying to call my mother since yesterday and this morning, and there's no answer. As you know, I haven't spoken to my son in about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, because they've all brainwashed him. Okay, they've brainwashed him. My cousins on the east coast of Florida never called me, even though I drove there to their home to visit my aunt that was on her deathbed. And I showed my respect with them. I stayed a whole night in hospice with my aunt, their mother, with them. And then I drove back. It was a 6-hour drive. 3 hours there and 3 hours back. I took time out of work and I went. I have been extending myself for my family because I love them. But a part of me is only trying to be accepted as a transgender woman. But this is something that I've been rejected on and disrespected on almost 20 years now by my family. They've casted me away. I have no choice but to also disconnect totally. Because this whole idea of me wanting to move up there and put my home up for sale, it's still for sale right now, is to be closer to them. But a part of that reason is I only want to be loved and accepted. But there's none of that. There's none of that. There's nothing I can do on this earth that will change them. And I'm not trying to change them to any extreme. I just want to be respected and loved. But it's not there. I don't feel it. I don't feel it. My brother told me that I was selfish. That Stephanie is for Stephanie. I don't see that. I lived in this home right here with a roommate that I cared for 10 years. He had Parkinson's. He became like a father to me. He showed me love. But on the 10th year of 2019, I came home and I discovered him dead in the bathroom. I immediately contacted his family to let them know, because his family and his relationship was strained. Okay? He had weak ties in his family. So we lived here together for 10 years. 10 years. And I cared for him. I took him to the doctor's appointments. I cooked for him. I was there for him for 10 years. This home was originally his. He left it in his will for me because I was the only one in his life that he was communicating with. He had no one. When his family found out that I was transgender, they didn't accept me. So they kept trying to tell him to get rid of me. But after he died, they found out that I never left, that I stayed here to care for him. They changed their heart and they said that we're sorry that we never treated you right. We're sorry. Before I took care of him, I lived with a 90-year-old woman who I cared for a year. So anyways, me and this woman, our relationship changed, so I moved out because it was too much for me to handle. 5 months after I moved out, she passed away. I took that very, very hard because she was like my best friend. After she died, her nieces, who had power of attorney over her property, contacted me. And they told me that they wanted to thank me because of all the roommates she had. I was the most honest one because I took care of her. And I told them thank you, but I had to move out because we weren't getting along. But I remained in touch with her. After she passed away, her neighbors called me to let me know. And immediately I broke down and I cried. I couldn't believe it. I was devastated. But she lived a full life. She was 90 years old. I'm a very empathetic person. Look at the lengths that I've tried to satisfy my family. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Today is Christmas. This isn't the way I wanted my Christmas morning to begin. But it's come to a hard realization now that if people do not accept you for whoever and whatever you are, then all you need to do is put your head up and continue and move forward. So this morning, after calling multiple times to my mother's home and my father's, there's no answer. I know that they're there, but my brother, in my mind, I think, has blacklisted me with my parents. They're not contacting me. They don't want to do nothing with me. One of the conversations I had with my brother was, we can care for our parents all we can, but we might come to a time where we might have to put them in a nursing home. It's going to be too much, too overwhelming. My brother didn't like that idea. And my brother has been arguing with me for the past month off and on for some crazy reason, and he ends up apologizing. This time I've just had it. I've just had it. It just hurts me very much to know that there isn't a single person, including my son and my family, who I can speak with, who I have on my side. So on this Christmas day, I really truly feel alone. I really truly feel alone. I texted my brother and I said, how can you tell me that I'm selfish? I lived with someone for 10 years and I cared for that person. And he wasn't the only one. And you're telling me that I'm selfish because I have a car? Really? And because I live in Florida where it's mostly sunny, but right now I'm freezing my ass off. It's 42 degrees. I told him, I said, no matter what I do, it's never enough for anybody there. So I'm sorry for coming on like this morning. This is just my way to vent. It's my way to vent. I have nobody else to talk to. I don't have nobody else to talk to. And it seems like my YouTube channel is just to discuss my life up and down. In some way it's true, because that's how it's been. I tried to hold my head up yesterday. I said, I'm not gonna look down anymore, I'm gonna look up. So I went grocery shopping. I got some food for myself to eat here for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day today. I got some turkey legs out of the freezer last night, and I'm going to stick them in my the oven later on. And I don't think it's going to get very warm out. I think the high is supposed to be 55, and this morning was in the 30s. So I just want to say to you guys, Merry Christmas. I'm sorry, I don't mean to come off this way. It's not what Christmas is about. I'm not a very religious person, but I was raised with celebrating Christmas every year with my family. They're Catholics. So it's ingrained in me to be a little festive, I guess. But that's what's happening today. I slept very good last night. I spent about 15 minutes calling my mother last night, but there was no answer. So this morning, immediately I started calling. There was no answer. So that's it. I don't expect a call from my son because he never calls me. So that's that. My cousins who live here in Florida on the East Coast, they don't call me. They don't call me. I would regularly have conversations with my aunt where she was good, but she passed away some 7 months ago. So now I truly feel like my whole family has blacklisted me. Yeah. It's shameful. Very, very shameful. So I hope you guys have a great Christmas day. I'm going to be the best that I can today. I'm going to keep my head up towards the sun because I know it's warmer somewheres. So I'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care, guys. Merry Christmas.
I'm